أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. So next time, Yusuf, do record the session as well. Do enable the recording so that we have a recording piece as well on our side. So that if we have to make any modifications, we can do that. Okay. Okay. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Peace and blessings be upon everyone. Today's session is a very interesting session. We do these sessions every Saturday because it's more of an interview preparation session for our students who are going through basically their interviews. Before we do that, this session is for students in UK. And I'm going to introduce about myself, and then we will quickly jump into the program, what we're doing and how we're doing it, right? Next time, do that like Yusuf separately, okay? One of the key things that you all have to understand is that these sessions will give you an deep insight of how to go through the interview process. But before we, jump in and start discussing all the key things, let's start. So my name is Muhammad Faisal. I'm the founder of Nafi. Today's session is a very unique session because we are going to go through the whole preparation process of how to secure your interview when they call you in, and what to do and how to answer all the questions, right? There are a couple of things I would like to share with you, but before we start that, so today I have picked up a sample of 129 students in UK, right? I'm going to share the data with you. Sajjad, while I'm preparing, can you please send me the information about basically the people who will be interviewing you? I would like to know their names and their profile screenshot from LinkedIn, right? So that I can see who those people are and what they will, because if I can know about them, I'll be able to understand what kind of questions they might ask you, okay? So this is a very interesting data. I'm going to share the data with you to give you a deep insight of what is happening, right? And this data is very interesting. We picked up a data of 129 students today for today's talk, right? If we randomly pick up the data and we show you, and this data is very interesting because it gives you deep insight of what is happening. Now, when I inserted this column, there were 80 responses. They were already, roughly, I would say 130. So roughly like 30 of the responses were already there before we added this field, right? We can see people's email addresses, obviously, their numbers. Now, this is very important. These are the students of 130 universities coming in, right, on our side. You can see university from every university in UK. There is City, Cardiff, Coventry, Leeds. I mean, every university you can think of, right? The biggest chunk is coming from University of Hertfordshire so far. I mean, for this sample, and Coventry, and so on and so forth. These are predominantly, this is a deep insight of what kind of people are coming to UK to study. Most of them, overwhelmingly, almost 95% of them, they go for MSc program because it's a one-year program. And the whole goal of you coming to UK is what? It's a very straightforward goal. It is a very straightforward goal. You come in with the intention of completing your master's program. Why? Because master's program is of 1 year. It's a one-year program. You go for the program, you complete the program in 1 year so that you can get your PSW. And the moment you get your PSW, what do? You go out and start applying for jobs. That is your primary objective, right? Why am I discussing about all of these things? The universities should prepare you and should enable you and should ensure that they take every step imaginable and doable in their capacity to ensure that you are able to secure a job, or you are able to secure an internship, or you're able to do something, right? From my experience of working as a CIO, as a CTO, as a CISO in UK, North America, like US and Canada, I can tell you one thing. The universities are failing our students. Look at the data. I'm going to show you the data. The data doesn't lie, right? So look at the data. And we will keep on showing you bigger data, right? These students, they have done different degrees, data science, electrical power engineering, whatnot, right? Most of them, they have around 34% of them have their PSW, 2 years remaining. 1 year remaining is 37, around 29, 30%. And 30% of them, they have their PSW. They haven't applied for the PSW. And PSW is not issued. They're still a student, like 7. This is the data you can see, which is very, very interesting. The risky students, these are the ones, they only have 1 year remaining and they have to go back because they can't do anything. They can't, they haven't been able to secure a job. So what will happen to these students? These students will be forced to go back because they were not able to find a job in the amount of time it was required to secure the job, right? And I can tell you right now, our students, when they study with nafi.com, when they go to nafi.com, one of the things that we pride upon is we are teaching you the job description from day one. We're teaching you the job description from day one. That is what we pride upon. That is our core purpose. Our core purpose is to ensure that we teach you the job description from day one, so that when you go in and study, you're learning what is the most demandable, things right now. In today's thing, we're going to talk about one of the key courses, which is if we go to the course section, right? And this is the course we're going to talk about, DevOps, SysOps, and AI, right? DevOps, SysOps, and AI advancement. Every discipline, these students, whoever these students are, wherever they're coming from, whatever they have studied, if they study this course, they will be able to build on the foundation of their degree and the PSW in order to secure the job. Otherwise, they have to go back. Because from PSW, once you have your PSW, the chances of you going back on a student visa, if you're not able to secure the job in 2 years' time, you have to go back. Because the chances of converting PSW into a student visa, it's very slim. The possibility, it drops down significantly. Because the Home Office, they know what is happening. They know that you're a student, and they are looking for some of the top candidates, right? But obviously, they are looking for people who, and this is kind of a disparity, right? So they give the student, these politicians, they create the system and they assess the students, like universities, right? Annual earning, right? In UK. I think it goes into, I would say, in billions of dollars, right? In billions of pounds. There was a very interesting, university student visa, UK, new restrictions. Let me tell you something about that. There was a very interesting column by BBC. There was a section by BBC, and they were saying that the government is considering putting some restrictions, but then they backed off because, it was very difficult. Because the amount of revenue that is being generated by these universities, the economic activity, right? It's very, very high, right? So universities, UK, economic activity, right? And if I type in BBC, you will see that there was a very interesting news, what is happening, right? If I can find it, I will share it with you. But these students, they came with this, these politicians, they create these systems. Okay, let's, increase the quota of the students. And then this will profit our universities, obviously, our economy. It will bring in the money. We also need the talent, we also need the talent for that as well. And, for that, obviously, and they came up with the solution known as global, apply for the global talent visa, right? And they say, like, if you are coming, and they created these different rules. And they said, like, if you're in the digital technology side, And if you're coming in from all of these technology roles, these are the available roles, where if you work on a PSW, they can offer you, or you can even apply for yourself, the global talent visa, stuff like that. They mentioned these areas: AI, NLP, machine learning experts in Word, right? Without even looking at the job market, they create these things. If you are offered a role, CTO or VP, cybersecurity experts, DevOps and SysOps engineers, and the list goes on, right? Now, they say that, technical skills. And today's topic is going to talk about DevOps and SysOps and AI, which is a combination of three things: DevOps, development operations, SysOps, and AI, right? And this gives you basically all the knowledge you need to be successful in order to, go into the industry and be able to prove yourself that, no matter if it's finance or business or accounting or insurance or management accountancy or engineering or SCADA or any discipline, wherever there is data, data is everywhere. If you learn this, and you can do that in 3 to 6 months' time, you will be able to work within that industry without any problems, right? You'll be able to. But the politicians, they design these things without even thinking how they're going to do, what the university will accommodate. The universities will never accommodate you. The university's prime purpose is to, get you through the degree program, and so that they can give you a letter and you can apply for the PSW, right? So you can see there's PSW, not issue 1 year remaining, whatever the case is. And you can see some of the PSW students, 3 to 6 months. Yesterday, I had a word with one of the students. He was from Nigeria, and his, yesterday, day before yesterday, and his PSW was expiring in August of 2023. You know what was my message to him? You'll be surprised. I'm going to show you my message, right? Because I told him, his name was Patrick from Nigeria, right? I had a conversation with him. So I told him, thank you for your time, whatever the case was, right? And I told him, the first thing you need to do is, you are able to meet an immigration lawyer in UK who can work with you to ensure that you are able to convert your PSW back into a student visa first and foremost, as plan A. As plan B, try to look and apply for universities in Germany, EU, and Canada. And then as plan C, study this course that I'm going to recommend you, right? So that you don't repeat this situation and you're not in this quagmire, this legal quagmire where you come in with the intention of working, but you can't because you don't have the skills. If I show you the resume of this person, you'll be like, what is happening? And he was very worried. I said, like, this is what you have to do. Otherwise, you will keep on repeating the cycle. Keep on repeating the cycle, right? And these are the people who wants to work in these domains. Now, they are coming from accountancy, they're coming from different backgrounds, whatever their backgrounds are, it doesn't matter. What matters is if you have DevOps, SysOps, and AI skills, you can secure the job. Because that will enable you to sit in front of the, these clients, these companies, and say, if it's a biomedical company, I can create the solution, I can develop the solution, I can do end-to-end all of these things. We are already connecting with these Fortune 500 companies, right? And these companies are the ones with which we are working to put your resume in front of them. But we can't even, these are the 129 people. We can't put their resume because they have nothing. There is nothing in their resume, so they're coming from different fields, but in their resume, they have nothing, right? And this is a very interesting quagmire, right? They're coming from different nationalities, as you can see, right? Different nationalities. And all of these people have one thing that they need, and that they need is the skills. So if they have the skills, they can be successful. And if they don't have the skills, they have to go back. No matter what your profession is, if it's medicine, if it's a doctor, it's a separate story. But if it's like any other, apart from being a physician, right? There was a person I met yesterday, and he was a very interesting person. His name I was reviewing his resume, and I called him and I said, like, And I'm going to show you his resume. I'm going to show you his resume. Hold on. And this was a very interesting story because we are looking into talking to him. I left him a message and I said, like, look, I want to talk to you for a possibility of teaching at my university as well, where we can sponsor your work. Absolutely, yes. Right. So his name is Yogdash. His name is Yogesh Vadhar. Right. This is his resume. Yogesh Vadhar. I'm going to try to not show you, what he's doing, but I'm going to show you his degree, right? What he has done. It's a very interesting thing. Look, he's working in IT. Look at his degree. Bachelor's in Homeopathic Medicine and Surgery, Master of Social Sciences, and then he did an MBA in UK from University of West Scotland, London campus. But he's working in IT. He's working in IT, right? So one thing is for sure. It doesn't matter what your, background is. As long as you have these skills, you will be able to work. Otherwise, you have to go back. This person is working. He's earning nominal salary, but the company cannot offer him a work permit. So I told him what you need to do, what you have to follow. And this is very important. If you follow the track, no matter what your background is or your qualification or education is, you will be able to go into these companies, because in your resume it will be mentioned that you learned all of these things and you practice and you worked on the internship. Now the university should be teaching you that and giving you all of those things, but they are not. This is what we do. And this is what makes us unique. This gives us a very unique standing position, right? Our program is designed to complement and give you all the key skills you need to be successful. I'm going to talk about this student of mine today, Sajjad. He's going in this, company in basically in UK. It's a biomedical company, right? And they develop these conventional diagnostics and give you one-dimensional income. They give you. It's a company which is doing different things. Basically, what they're doing essentially is like they have automated the whole process of image analyzing. So whatever images there are, they can analyze MRI, X-rays, and everything, and they can give you a complete diagnostic of what possibly, so that the doctors don't miss the diagnostic, right? So they have a lot of these things. They have these different different solutions for pharma solutions, for imaging providers, physician education hub for physicians. They have these different, but primarily what they're doing is this company, they equip you with the keys, with the key technology. And if I want to show you something, I can show you, right? This is what they're doing. Equip your center to lead in healthcare. So these machines are pretty expensive machines, $5-6 million, depending on from $1 million to upward of $10 million. These are MRI machines, and they can give you deep insights of all the things. So, biomedical companies are jumping into this business, and this is what they're doing, right? And they have these different solutions, different things, right? And different products, MRCP plus, Cover Scan, Haptica, Perspectum Portal, et cetera, right? And the company is making basically a lot of strides, I would say. So if I search them online, it's a big company. And if I search on Perspectum and then try to see Wikipedia, right, and revenue, you'll be able to see their revenue as well. It's in a fairly decent size, 4.5 billion, USD in 2020. And I can tell you right now, this is going to grow, I would say in leaps and bounds in many ways, right? Is that the right company? No, this is a different one. Perspectum UK, right? That's what I want to search. This is the one, diagnostic company. This is the diagnostic company. I don't know why they don't have a Wikipedia page or anything, but if I just type in revenue, I should be able to see. Okay. So yeah, roughly Perspective Group, 75 million IPO. It's still a startup. And 2019, 4.8 billion, 2020, 5.7 billion. Financial performance is pretty good, right? So you can see the company is growing. It's growing and it's growing fast, so on and so forth. So these are the companies that are looking for the talent. If you have the skills, if you're coming from accountancy, finance, whatever background you have, medicine, healthcare, not medicine, you can go into this field. This guy, I showed you, he came from homeopathic medicine and he's now working in IT, has no IT degree, but he's working in IT. He was able to secure the job. So your prime purpose of coming to UK is secure, complete the degree, get the PSW, and then go into the industry and start working. Otherwise, you have to go back. You have to go back. Okay, so we're going to start the preparation. Took a few minutes to explain to you the importance of what you're studying, how you're studying, so on and so forth, right? Sajjad, are you here? Sajjad, have you sent me who will be interviewing? Okay.
Yes,
so,
I can. Professor.
Okay.
Is a true
I'm going
person?
to
Is
open
one.
their profile, right? Just
One
to
of the
see. I'm
devil.
going to name these guys. You have to send me his profile, his experience. What is he doing? So it seems like one guy is working in DevOps and cloud. The other guy is working in VP of engineering. So there are two people,
Yes,
right?
these are two people.
Yes. So we can have an idea, but I need to see what they're doing, so on and so forth, right? I'm going to open the job description. There's also Maria. She is coming from the talent acquisition. Okay. Now, the CV I can see in front of myself, you sent it to me. Let's look at the job description that you sent me, right? Right.
Yeah.
And this is where you have to understand the key aspects of what we have covered so far, right? Because that is very, very important for you. I'm going to cover this job description here, take this out, put it here so that everyone can see and so that you can prepare yourself. Okay. So you went through the DevOps and SysOps, right? I'm going to, take this time to explain to you. At Perspective, engineers are more often than coders. So they're looking for coders, right? We solve problem solving. Our tools are our listening and whiteboarding skills, and our judgment and ability to learn fast as much as our technical skills and experience. We are not looking for finished articles. We are looking to invest in people who are early mid-careers and want to remain in technically hands-on while leveraging their creative problem-solving skills. So they're not looking for, they're looking for creative people. That person can come from anywhere, right? In this whole basically job role, I haven't seen one mentioning of that you should have a degree in BS or this or that or whatnot, right? It doesn't mention. But here's what we're going to do. The first thing is build, release CI/CD and security engineering for new serverless first projects and containerized heritage services, right? So there are two things that they're doing. They are trying to basically push everything that they have, which is old school, towards containerization. Heritage services, these are old softwares that they might have been using, right? So they're trying to convert them. And serverless means this is all what? Cloud-based, running on what? Kubernetes, right? That is a serverless architecture. So you should be able to finish the whole Kubernetes course because you've been doing that, the diploma in DevOps, right? So you should be able to complete the whole course. You should know by hand, what are the key things. You should know all of these things by heart, and by hand means like you should know how to, program all of those things. This is very important. Kubernetes developer, right? Because they're going to ask you, if you give you, an application, can you create a container of that through Dockers? Yes. And then can you put that container over to the Kubernetes infrastructure? Yes, I can do that. How? This is what you have to, this is already mentioned. You have already learned all of these things. You should know all of these things, right? The second thing is security engineering. When they do security engineering, tell them, one of the things I've seen is that in the security engineering, you mentioned, and this is a role between DevOps and DevSecOps, right? So security is also part of it, because I understand that because of the health records, right? There's a lot of patient information, privacy information, right? And at the bottom it says, identifying, assessing, and patching or mitigating security vulnerabilities in in-house or third-party software or the cloud, using Snike and Python Poetry or Prism Cloud, Prisma Cloud, or CIS benchmarks. So if they ask you, say yes, Snike, it's for the code review. I can even embed all the code review things which are available. And let me show you something. There's a very good document I have, which is the CIO Ops, right? I'm going to show you that. Show you the process that we follow at Nafi for developing our own solutions, right? I'm going to show you that. This is our team. Our teams are different teams. And I'm going to show you the architecture as well. Hold on. So this is the reference architecture that we use, right? Hold on. You see, this is the pipeline architecture, and this is our current architecture, right? So you can see the current architecture resembles all the key aspects, and that's exactly what we have taught you. Hold on. This one. So the developers develop the application, the code is committed to Git. Snike is there to perform static code analysis, right? Then we publish the code on GitHub. Then we do the Sonar QB for dynamic code analysis. And then the code goes for manual review, manual code deployment using SSH, because for that, we use a jump box, because none of the developers are allowed to push the code directly into the production. They have to go through a jump box. That jump box, that server, dedicated server, is closely monitored, right? Because it cuts down accidental deployments or anything, and it establishes accountability. So we do that, right? Then we do automated testing for, with Cypress. This is where the QA testing is performed. We go in and we perform the QA testing. All of these things, Sajjad, that we are telling you, you have already learned these things. On 15th of May, when we talk about the internship program being global, we are opening it for everyone. Then you'll be able to see, you'll be doing the same things day and night, live with the teams around the world, right? They're doing all of these things. And then we assess the application stress testing with JMeter. We test it out. This is exactly what they're looking for. They're looking for a person who can manage this whole pipeline. This whole pipeline. There is nothing new. This is what they're asking for. So explain to them. We also use Nessus and a couple of other tools. There are the UI guys, they use their own tools. But JMeter is there to test images and all of those things. I mean, these are web applications or whatever the case is. Then that dev testing EC2 instance goes towards production EC2 instance. And this is where we do CloudWatch. We set up these CloudWatch. Basically, can you please put yourself on the mute because the voice is echoing. Then we put on and configure the CloudWatch run, the real user monitoring, and all the other aspects. Yusuf, can you please put someone on the mute because there's a person. Hold on, let me see. Mic is open. Salman, Sajjad, can you please put it on mute? Okay, no. Then the real user monitoring is where we configure the real user monitoring, configure all the load testing, the functionality testing, the business functionality testing to make sure it is working. If it breaks apart, we know exactly where the breakage happened, right? Synthetic monitoring with AWS Canaries. This is where we perform the synthetic monitoring end to end, from end to, from start to finish. If it's a payment process, then we establish the synthetic monitoring to ensure end-to-end transactions from initiation to completion is captured, right? So we're doing that. Then we do the SEO, is also monitored. I mean, is the website or application properly optimized, so on and so forth. And then the marketing departmental testing goes in. I mean, this is the normal cycle. Obviously, in your case, right, and this is the architecture that we have covered, right? In your case, this is you as a user. You push the code on Git, or it's pushed by the developers. Then it goes into the code commit. Then you build up a code build. When the code build is happening, you test it with SCA and static code analysis, and then you do some more testing to make sure like the audit and governance of those things are done. This is where the CIS benchmarks are performed. We go in and we run some of the tools for CIS benchmarking. These are the templates available on AWS. So we utilize these tools, what ports are open, what ports are closed, what services are running, what services are supposed to be running, what services are not supposed to be running. All of these things are captured during the whole, cloud operations pipeline. In our company, Bolo, in my company, this is done through CIO ops pipeline. This is what you have to say. The CIO is a very hands-on guy. He's engaged fully with the teams, and he ensures that the static code analysis, dynamic code analysis, lambda scan analysis, security hubs and application, and vulnerabilities are identified. S3 bucket systems are reviewed. CloudTrail is configured properly, and we're reviewing the logs. AWS config. Just explain to them. It's like if you go to the orchestra, right? If you go to the orchestra, what do you see? And there's a person. I don't know what you call that person. He is trying to orchestrate everything, right? That is the CIO in our company who ensures that the orchestration is happening as per the CIO ops process. This is what you have learned, Sajjad, in your track. So be able to speak fluently, right? And be able to speak eloquently. And that is what you have to do. So when you go there, prepare yourself. And because they're going to ask you this first process, explain to me the process of what happens when you push the, anything goes to the CI/CD pipelines. And then keep on explaining to them. So this is all, so you record everything, write it down, stand in front of the mirror, practice it out. Because the university didn't teach you anything. All they did was academic stuff. Over here, you learned everything, right? If you go and apply just on the basis of university, Sajjad, will you be able to find a job? I'm going to ask you something. Go ahead.
No, it's not possible. I know many students, they are doing a job, hard job.
So all of your classmates who did the degree, what are they doing right now?
Some of them delivery jobs, some of them doing healthcare. And
sorry, some of them are doing what, sorry?
Healthcare, they got a healthcare visa, 5-year visa, because they don't find a job and PSW is expired. And some of doing delivery job like Uber, Deliveroo, Just Eat.
So none of them are in the field, right? Even though they completed the degree in MSc in what?
MSc Computer Science, Cybersecurity. I know the guys, and the data science even. They
but
don't.
In fact, there are millions of jobs available in UK and in Europe, and these are high-paying jobs, right?
The university, whatever have they teach us, is not relevant to the market. So this is a reason.
This is where you have to come in. So this is what makes us different from other people. That's the fundamental reason. When I'm looking at the data, I'm shocked, but I'm not surprised. I'm shocked because of the ignorance of the universities, right? So then you have to tell them, we configure the CloudWatch, we configure the SNS, the simple notification service, making sure like the emails and all of these things are working fine. The Amazon CloudWatch logs are reviewed. This is where like we check each and everything to make sure that the deployment is done properly. Then also talk to them and say, for the Kubernetes architecture, we do blue-green deployment, blue-green deployment, and tell them, Dave, Mike, you already know, so blue-green deployment is basically the green is the production, the blue is the staging, but it's a production. It's not stage per se. It's the new production. So we test out basically the blue, make sure that it's live. We test out the pod, right? The Kubernetes container. We test out everything, making sure everything is fine. And then we do the DNS route changes to the global load balancer, drain all the traffic from the green and divert it towards the blue, right? Once that is done, We test the blue because the blue before becoming into a green architecture is already thoroughly tested and vetted, right? This is again another thing that we have taught you, and you'll be doing a lot of these things, in your basically in your internship program as well. This is the blue-green architecture. I'm going to show you that. I'm going to share the screen so that you can understand. And this is what we have covered. This is how organizations do their deployment for the CI/CD, properly. None of the people, even the professional ones, after many years of experience, they learn how to do blue-green architecture, right? So you test out the application, you make sure that the application is running fine, and then you convert the traffic, all the traffic from green over towards the blue, right? So the blue becomes the live one, the blue environment, and then the green environment. This is all done in Elastic Beanstalk in Kubernetes. So you swap the URLs. The blue becomes the production, and the green goes back. And then when we have to do the deployment, we can do deployment on the green, test it out, and then goes through the whole CIO ops process or whatever process in your company you call it, right? It might be, Mike process or Dave process. I don't know, right? So there has to be a process. You can also call it a DevSec process. A DevSec process in our organization, the whole idea, because we work with a lot of financial applications, right? And healthcare application from the perspective of only EMRs, electronic medical records. Your applications are similar. I've reviewed your website and what you do, so on and so forth. So your application is similar. So what we do is we do the same thing. In the DevSecOps, we ensure that the security is embedded and is part of the fabric of the application. We ensure that security is not an afterthought. So we continuously scan the application, scan the code, scan it for the CIS benchmarks, right? Scan for the ISO 27001, 27017, 27018 for security, for ISMS, for cloud security, and for privacy of the data. We keep on doing all of these things, right? If it's a payment card, then we throw in PCI DSS in there as well. So it depends what kind of application, because we have multiple applications. As I said, there are SCADA applications, for industrial control systems, critical infrastructure. There are banking applications. There are payment applications. There are healthcare applications. There are applications targeting the retail sector. There are applications targeting, the BFSI, banking, financial services, insurance. There are applications for telco. The underlying element, as I've learned over these years, this is what you're going to say, Sajjad, is basically it all comes down to what kind of data are we storing? What kind of data is passing, is being stored, transmitted, or processed by the application? If any of the PII is transmitted, stored, or processed by our applications, that application, by virtue of doing these three deeds, will become part of the CIO ops process or the DevSecOps process. It's nothing else. Sajjad, this is very important. You learn this thing as I'm telling you to do these things. Do you understand, Sajjad?
Yes, Pastor.
But you're sitting there. I want you to come out as like a lion, that you are on the commanding position. You see how I'm talking? You see how I'm talking?
Yeah.
This is the way you have to talk. It doesn't matter your accent. What matters is how are you able to convey effectively and efficiently the knowledge.
Right.
You already know these things, Sajjad, right? The only
Yeah.
caveat is that sometimes people get confused. The university didn't taught you any of these things. I can tell
Yes.
you right now, all of you, all of the universities who are doing, the teachers who are training them, training these students, they have zero experience or almost zero experience in terms of teaching them any of these new things, right? So you need to make sure that when you walk in there, you're fully prepared, and because you have nothing to lose, Sajjad. You have nothing to lose, right? There can be two outcomes. Either you will be selected or you will come out swinging. If you're selected, you come out swinging, or you just go back home, right?
Yeah.
Right? This is your first interview. Go and do this thing properly, right? Now, The other thing that they're saying is, right? They're saying is builds, release CI/CD pipelines, and I'm already explained to you the whole process. You have
Yes.
already seen the CIO ops pipeline. How does the pipeline really works out, right? This is the reference architecture of the CI/CD pipeline, right? They call it the pipeline architecture. If you just type in AWS pipeline architecture, right, you will see that's the architecture I was talking about. Every organization in this world, every organization, they follow a reference architecture. You see, this is a reference architecture that they provided, for DevOps, SysOps, for CI, CD, right? You type in, you'll be able to see this on their website. This is the setup of CI/CD pipeline on AWS. They've explained to you the whole process. And that's exactly what we're teaching. We're teaching you how to build this thing, how to manage this thing, right? But every organization does it in a different manner, right? So how do you push the code, deploy the code, right? And what happens? Code deploy, code connect, code commit, all of these things, right? These are all the services that you have gone through. You have learned the costing of these things. You have learned how to manage these things. So now bring up all of those things that you have learned from us by doing in front of being able to pass the interview, right? And because once you pass this interview, you'll be managing this thing. Whatever you have learned, you'll be doing that. But to break the barrier, you have to come, out swinging, and you have to explain to them what you have done. You see, this is the reference architecture, and this is how we created the architecture, right? Every company does it differently, right? Every company does it differently. But our goal was to come back to this reference architecture, and we have done that. In our applications that you're learning, we are using CloudWatch, we are using SNS, we're using not the perimeter store, but code pipeline, code commit, code build, code deploy, code review, the code guru as they call it, right? All the scanners, but different scanners, right? OWASP scanners, yes, right? We use S3, we use Lambda, we use security hub application vulnerabilities. Instead of that, we use our own Burp suite, right? And combination of other open source tools. CloudTrail, yes. AWS config, yes. IAM roles, yes. We use all of these pieces. And we have taught you all of these pieces. So when you go out, explain to them all the things, right? Our first principle, GitOps, re-imaging of our AWS, Azure, cloud state with Terraform and Spacelib. Now, we have taught you Terraform. All the open source tools. If I talk about all the open source tools, let me show you something. These are all the open source tools that we have covered, right? In our teaching. And you already have gone through all of these things. So you still have time. Go back and revisit all the courses so that you are fully prepared and you know exactly how to answer these things because you have already learned these things, right? These are all the things that we have completed. I'm going to show you that. Hold on. And we know we keep on adding and subtracting new tools as we move forward, so on and so forth. So we keep on doing these things. So if I show you, these are the open source tools. We have covered, there's a separate course, DevOps open source tools. In that, we have covered GitHub, Maven, Jenkins, Chef, Test Sigma, Ansible, Puppet, Gradle, Console, Splunk, Terraform, 7 hours. 7.5 hours of Terraform, how infrastructure as a code is managed. SOAP UI, Nagios, TeamCity, Elasticstack, Slack, Circle CI, New Relic, all of these things are done. You already have access to these courses. And,
Yes.
I keep on adding new courses. There are certain, every 6 months, there will be around 30 new tools coming in. So you take out the tools which are not used anymore in the industry, and we add a new tool because these are dynamic courses. How do we do this? We go out and we review the job description, what companies are asking for. We are contacting these companies, and this is how we are placing our graduates there. So by July, August, we'll start placing the placement of these graduates in these companies. So by that time, if you haven't secured the job, we'll be able to place you in there as we say, okay, we can only put you to the interview table. But how do you perform at that table is up to you. The university never prepared you to even sit at the interview table. Did they? No.
No.
If any one of you are sitting here and say, no, the university did prepare me for the interview and they did prepare me to be able to secure the job, please raise your hand and come and talk to me right now. None of you have gone through that process. We make sure that you have gone through, that you learn this process and you understand these things and you're able to go there and perform, right? So that's the key thing, okay? The next thing is, let me go back. The next thing is building out, GitHub re-imaging. So tell them, I have experience with AWS, with Azure, no, right? Because we have taught you AWS, not the Azure. Azure is coming up because we are still developing that whole infrastructure, right? It will take us 2-3 months. But tell them AWS and Azure pretty much the same. No, I wouldn't say pretty much the same. Tell them the concepts are same. So if I can do the imaging, the CI/CD pipeline push and pull like on AWS, I can do the same on Azure as well, right? So that's one thing. Tell them that you have all of your experience, majority is on Linux-based architecture. It is on Linux-based architecture. And that's what we are teaching you. The Windows is coming, right? Our first principle, this is what we covered. Spacelift, we haven't covered Spacelift. Tell them, Spacelift is not there. I don't have experience with Spacelift, but I have experience with Terraform. I can do that. If it's the same tool, I don't mind, versus Terraform. Which one is better? We can check and see. And I can add the Spacelift there in the new upcoming topics, right? Spacelift, I'm going to add there. So you can see what is a Spacelift, what it can do, track individuals, resources, unlike Terraform Cloud, which focuses mainly on running Terraform. Spacelift provides ultimate visibility into the resource managed by your organization. Okay, so this is a resource management tool. Who did what at what time. It provides them much more granular thing, right? So that's what Spacelift is doing. That's what it is doing basically, right? These tools, this is the policy as a code. The Terraform is infrastructure as a code. This is policy as a code. That's what it is doing. So you can even push policies, compliance policies, like this is, I will call it GRC as a code. Right? Policy as a code. So tell them you understand about policy as a code, Spacelift, and you understand the key concepts. You haven't worked on that indirectly, but similar to that in your existing, in the past company where you worked at, they had GRC as a code, governance, risk, and compliance as a code. And this is where they embedded all the key applications, all the key controls as part of a continuous process through Ansible. This is what they have done, and I've gone through the process. So, which runs and tasks can be started, who can approve or reject a run, login. So, trigger, task, push, plan, notification, all of these things can be managed through, Spacelift. In this company, in the past company when I worked at, they were doing it differently. They were managing it differently, right? This is what essentially Spacelift really does, right? So it's not something very special, I would say. It's something, that is going to be very easy for us to deploy. The learning time for this is going to be 1 to 2 hours, not more than that. Building out scale-ready monitoring and operability, including 24/7 on-call rota for critical outages. This is where you can tell them and say, you mentioned in the job description that you are looking for AWS and that you have architecture on AWS and Azure. For the AWS part, I can configure CloudWatch and CloudTrail, which can give us scale ready, configuring CloudWatch and CloudTrail, run real user monitoring, synthetic canaries, and all of these things to ensure that our end-to-end applications are continuously monitored. And we have deep visibility of what is happening within the applications. What is happening within the applications? How are they behaving? What are they doing? Where are they breaking down? And this part can be done through combination of CloudWatch, application performance monitoring through Elasticsearch, something that we have taught you. In the DevOps advancement track, we give you 2 tracks, 2 courses, which has a series of courses, in them. One is diploma in cloud cybersecurity, which is at level 3. And then the level 4 is DevOps, right? If you combine all of them, that is why it is important to learn security, because it's part of everything that you do. You can't run away from it. It's part of the organization. It's part of the organization culture. It's part of the fabric of the organization, the culture. Because without it, they don't have any sustainability, right? So tell them, yes, for the application performance monitoring part, go and do the Elasticsearch courses. There are 3 Elasticsearch courses: Elasticsearch for SOC engineers, Elasticsearch for data analytics in Kibana with Kibana, and then Elasticsearch threat hunting. These 3 courses, Sajjad, that we have taught you, enables you to build out this whole process of scale-ready monitoring and operationability, which is like deep insights, right? This is the DevSecOps process, the development, security operations process. It should be DevSecSysOps process, right? Essentially, because there is infrastructure, right? And they have mentioned infrastructure, where I'm going to show it to you, helping feature squads to shift lens, test and prod, elevate the constraints, and lots of other buzzword goodness. I mean, tell them, like, I told you, in our company, we use the CIO ops pipeline, because the CIO ops is a very hands-on guy. He want to make sure everything is embedded. So the CTO, the CISO, all of their processes are already embedded within the CIO ops pipeline. It's one big pipeline, and there are multiple filters, right? We also call that the stage gate process. So for every stage, there's a gate. The second gate will not open until the first gate is cleared. So you open the first gate, you clear it, then you go and do the second gate. You can't jump to the second gate if you don't pass the first gate. We call this the stage gate process, the CIO ops. In your company, you can call it, whatever process acronym that you guys are using. I'm not familiar, because this is my first time meeting you guys, but I'm sure that you have something like that, because I reviewed some of your the job description, and I was able to find pieces, because every organization is pretty much following a reference architecture or the other. So you might be following something, right? Relentlessly evolving in the software system, and say yes, absolutely yes. My job, if given the opportunity, will be to ensure that DevOps, SysOps, and basically, even the AI. I want to throw in the AI as well. Just think about, you guys are using artificial intelligence in your applications to expedite the image view. Why don't you guys just look into, putting the AI to review the whole process automatically, right? This is something that should be considered. So I really would like, if given the opportunity, I really would like to explore that, because this way we can automate the whole process. Okay. This is the most unique interview preparation I'm doing, Sajjad, for you, right?
Yeah.
Make sure that you memorize each and every word. Okay. Take notes. We have taught you Bash, Python, Python Selenium, Python automation, Jira with Python. All of these things that they have mentioned, you already know these things. So bring up all the things that you have learned and be able to speak, because I can't sit over there for you. You have to face them yourself, right? Then this says, think DevOps, DevSecOps, site reliability engineering, and even platform engineering. Yes, absolutely. Everything nowadays is running as containers. I'm sure that you guys are also trying, because scalability, horizontal scaling, vertical scaling, everything becomes easier for us. Cost becomes manageable. There are lots of advantages, huge advantages for using, a combination of Dockers and Kubernetes, right? So we can create different pods, different testing situations, and stage gate process. You might have something again, So absolutely, if given the opportunity, I'm a kind of person who knows about DevOps, who knows about SysOps, who knows about SecOps, you combine it together, you will see in me dev, half sec, and half sysops. So you're looking for this position, a dev SecOps. But I would say I am dev sec sysops. Half of me is DevOps, half of me is sysops, half of me is security operations. Because when you're working, if you don't know DevOps, if you don't know sysops, which is in the middle, right? Use this analogy, right? And as I was talking it like this, you have to repeat the same process. Tell them in the middle, it's the sysops, the infrastructure. The one valve is consider that as the heart, right? As the heart. You have one artery as the DevOps, right? And the other artery basically is the SecOps. You want to make sure that you get in the system, the data comes in, it's cleaned up, it goes out through the security process, right? We don't want any cholesterol in there. If someone is eating too much fish and chips every day, it's bad for health, right? Throw in some jokes. Sajjad, you work at a fish and chip shop, right? Throw in some, say, eating fish and as much as I love fish and chips, tell them you're telling the truth. As much as I love fish and chips, right? Back in the days I've worked on the fish and chips, it's great. Once in a month, it's okay. Every 6 months, it's good. Once a year, it's the best. You can't have too much, because too much of anything can be bad for you. So as I said, I'm the kind of person who knows about the infrastructure, and then who knows about the DevOps process, and then who also knows about the SecOps process, all the security standards, the templates, the benchmarking schemes, the file integrity monitoring control, the web application control, the SIEM, security information event monitoring through Elasticsearch, application performance monitoring, all the key controls of ISO, all the key controls of ISO 27001 for security, 27017 for cloud security, 27018 for data privacy, or cloud privacy, data privacy, all of these things. So, you can say that, I'm the kind of person who knows all of these things, right? 25%, 30%, 25%, 25. That's what makes me into a person I am, because otherwise, one cannot work. And then it says you will be helping establish an environment and culture that is proactive and attuned to the emerging threats and challenges of the modern software development world, right? And then it goes on. The system you work on will be used to deliver trials for new drugs, treatments, and clinical services that will ease suffering and save patient lives. Well, this company is amazing. In financial company, you work, you try to save them money. In SCADA company, you work, you try to protect the critical infrastructure. I have not worked in a biomedical company. The thing that appeals to me the most about this company, saving patient lives, right? I mean, what big of a cost there can be when I'm at the forefront within the industry or part of that industry where new drug treatments and clinical services are tested to save patient lives. That's a very big, if someone asks me, I can proudly state, to them, you're working in banking and this, but I'm working in the emerging technology side where people are doing things to save patient lives. You see, empathy. This is also very important. Okay, so that sums up your whole interview preparation. There's also a couple of things which are mentioned here, right? Technical role, about to excel platform. You need to, be motivated, solve business problems. The only way you can do this, if you keep on studying DevOps, SysOps, AI, then the software development comes in, you take software development. Never stop your learning process. Because if you want to, be successful in any organization and go up, you need to make sure that you understand the process and you keep on improving yourself. Because if you don't improve yourself, if you stop learning, you will go out. This is the most important thing. Okay?
Yes, I understand.
That's what you have to do. You make sure all of these things, again, Know the tools that you have gone through. I've already named you the tools that we covered. Uh, Jenkins, Ansible, Chef, all of these things, right? Be comfortable. If you are not able to answer any questions, just tell them, I mean, that's a good question. Let me think about it, right? And then go back and tell them if you can't. It is not necessary that you have to answer each and every question, right? Collaboration on software and or operation projects, whiteboards, Confluence. Tell them, I'm running a blameless postmortem and making a change to prevent recurrence. This is the most important thing. Don't blame anyone. This is going to be customer facing, diagnosing a root cause, running a blameless postmortem. They're saying, don't blame anyone. Just give us a solution. In the lessons learned, we will talk about who did the wrong thing so that we can teach them. And if they don't learn, so that we can fire them. There are only two things that happen in the organization. Either you learn and adapt and improve yourself. And if you don't learn, you don't adapt, then you go out of the organization, right? You don't have to repeat that. They already know. AWS for Terraform and cloud formation, infrastructure as a code, that's your specialty. Tell them, I'm a coder, but I'm not a software developer. I can code, I can create bash scripts, automation scripts, stuff like that. I wouldn't call myself a programmer. Like I love developing applications, APIs, stuff like that. But, I wouldn't, that will be, insulting to call call myself programmers. It's a very great profession. It takes time to call yourself, I'm a programmer, because a programmer is a person who can design, applications as per the business requirements. I can secure the applications as per business requirements. I can ensure that the security is embedded within the application as per business requirements. I can ensure that the DevOps processes are embedded within the applications, right? And all these things, all the good stuff. But if you ask me to develop, I can develop. Of course, yes. But will it be, the best of me? I would say not yet. Give me 2 years, then I would say yes, because I'm getting there. I'm getting there. Just tell them I'm getting there, right? Then they mention about a couple of these things. Go and study about them. Identifying, assessing CIS benchmarks. Python poetry. And then Snike that we use. So mention all of these things. I mean, there's nothing else. That's your interview preparation. Sajjad, there's a lot of things you have to do. Go and prepare yourself. Make sure that you go through all of these things properly. Make sure that you understand all the key aspects. I ask you to send me, the screenshot of their full profile, right? So always try to create like a PDF of the full profile. Go on the, open their profiles on LinkedIn and go on the print section and say, print this whole page into a PDF, and they will do that. Just send me that. I just need that, right? So then I can, what are their expertise? What have they done? What are their titles? I can see one of them is VP of engineering. And the other one is basically DevOps in the cloud. He's working in DevOps in the cloud. That's it, right? Both of them are in Oxford, right? One of them is in Chilton. The other one is in Oxford. That's it. This role, what are they paying you? What are they paying you?
There is a range mentioned from 35 to 55.
If they ask you the salary, tell them 35 to 55. Tell them looking at, between 50 to 55 range. If you keep me happy, okay, I will be happy, right? So just tell them, if you keep me happy, then I will be happy, right? And that's what you need to do. I want to work in an organization where I don't have to go anywhere, continue working. And there's nothing else. I just want to make sure, like, when I go in an organization, I keep on working in that organization for as long as possible, right? As long as I'm able to upgrade myself, update myself continuously, and be part of the dynamics within the organization, I will continue to play my part, right? So I'm available. There is no rush. I'm available, but This is like, new employment is like a relationship. You don't, and settling down with that company, you don't rush into a relationship, right? You want to study the organization, understand the organization, what they bring, what you bring on the table, what they bring on the table, and it's a mutual agreement, right? So I'm looking forward for it. That's it. Or kuch bhi nahi. There's nothing else, Sajjad. May Allah help you. If you need any information, any assistance, let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you. There is Brother Jair from Spain, Portugal, right? From Portugal or from Spain? Jair, where are you from? I forgot.
I'm in Spain. I'm from Holland. I'm in Spain.
This is
Spain. How do you do? Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum.
Salam alaikum. Once you complete your course, that's the kind of job you'll be going for. So prepare yourself.
Inshallah.
Memorize.
Inshallah. I'm on it. I'm on it. Inshallah.
Yes. Right. So
how's your health? How's your health?
Alhamdulillah, I'm okay. You can see me.
Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. Okay. All right. So next is Ali. Can you please come forward? Where is Ali? Is Ali here?
Yes, Faisal Bhai, I'm here.
Okay, I'm going to now start with you. Okay. I was supposed to do, Shahzeb. Shahzeb, I think Shahzeb is not here. Does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask before I jump on to the next interview preparation? If any one of you have any questions, they can raise their hands and they can ask me. As it relates to the program, what they have to study, what not, they can ask me right now. I will give you 5-10 minutes to ask the questions. Yes, Danish. Is it related to this topic, today's topic, or something? What is it?
Assalamu alaikum. How are you, Faisal bhai?
Alhamdulillah. Yes.
Yes, Faisal bhai. I have seen whatever the interview preparation. It's looked pretty similar what we have done in our SysOps advancement track. I'm just wondering about my CV, if you have prepared it or not.
This is the Danish from Adelaide, right? From Australia.
Yes, you remember.
It's written. I haven't finalized it. I haven't reviewed it. So,
okay.
Right. So I have to review it before. Once I send it to you, then you'll be going out, right? Applying left and right. 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 So.
No worries, Faisal bhai, because I'm just asking because there are some jobs available right now in PwC especially. And I have one friend who is working over there, and he's keep asking me because in PwC, if you post your someone else CV or refer someone else CV, is a better chance. So that's why.
Okay, let me review it and then circle back to you, inshallah.
No worries. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Dishan Ahmed, yes. Walaikum salam. Yes, Dishan Ahmed.
Sorry, Janab.
In English.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me a chance. Actually, I'm at the point of similarity and going through mid-career crisis. Although my question is not related to the today's topic.
Then you have to wait. Because if it's a question related to something else, it's best to reach out to me, via the support, right? That is my
sure.
That is my
apology.
But what is the question? Where are you right now?
Question is Dera Ghazi Khan.
So you're in Pakistan, okay.
Yeah. I just want to pursue my career in the artificial intelligence, so I need guidance in this regard.
If you want to pursue your career in artificial intelligence, you have to follow this track, DevOps, SysOps, AI. The AI is changing everything. And for the next 20 years, organization will be trying to find out how they can automate everything that they do within their company to basically be able to automate as much as they can, right? So if you really want to work in that area, you have to learn DevOps, SysOps, AI. After that, the learning never stops. Then you jump into big data and software development and all these areas. But in a given year, you can do at least preparation of these three things, depending on how much time you have, how much time you can spend. If you have, 1 hour a day or 2 hours a day, if you have 3 hours a day, you can take 1 hour in the morning, 1 hour in the middle, 1 hour before going to sleep, 3 hours a day. On weekdays, on weekends, try to spend more time, 5-6 hours. And if you somehow is able to muster together, 25 to 30 hours in a given week, spending this, in 3 to 6 months time, you'll be ready to apply for the jobs, because then you will have experience, you will have the knowledge, you will have the hands-on skills to apply and secure these things. And that's what you have to do. Otherwise, if you take it slow, it will take, if you do 2 hours a day, it will take 6 months. If you do 3 hours a day on weekdays and weekends, whatever your time you spend on weekdays, make it double on the weekends, right? Because that is your own career, right, that you're looking into. So that's something you have to design it yourself. So everything has been, explained in a lot of detail on our website and everywhere. There's another thing that you will come to know about tomorrow in the session for the basically internship. There's a new role that we have created: customer success managers. Customer success managers will be people available to you to guide you on a continuous basis, what to study, when to study, if your resume is stuck, when to develop your resume, how to develop your resume. They will guide you for everything. If you're facing any issue, you can call them. You will have one person to call for all of your needs. That's it. This is what we're doing. It's a very one-on-one service, only available for our advancement programs like level 3, 4, 5 diplomas or any of the advancement programs. You'll be able to have access to them on a continuous basis. So that's something that you will have. Yes, Yasir, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alhamdulillah.
Sir, there are many good things about Al-Nafi, for sure, about Al-Nafi's track, but I think it's my duty to ask questions for what is not good yet.
Sorry, come again. What are you saying?
I'm saying there are so many good things about Al-Nafi, but I find myself in a position to ask questions for what is not good yet from Al-Nafi. I have paid fee for yearly membership, and I have not been given the full access for the courses.
Which course?
And it's not the courses. It's not about the success. It's access. It's about courses are not yet published.
Which courses? Which courses?
Azure administrator course and Kubernetes courses that you advertise that it will be in the track.
Yes. Now hold on.
And for 6 months.
Something I think. Are you the person? Hold on. Are you the person who had the same conversation with Yusuf as well?
Yes, I have told so many people.
Yes. So it came to me. So the first thing I told Yusuf was like, you should have told me immediately, right? So here's the thing. The courses are not just videos that we can just throw at you and say, here are the videos, right? The courses are, are real life labs that we have created. The Azure labs that we created everything is being basically created as an infrastructure for you right now. So if you waste the time, if you lost the time, you'll be given additional time. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
The other thing is, so that's the one thing. The other thing is like, these are dynamic courses. We will keep on minusing and adding new courses. So we'll take out some of the courses and we'll add new courses. There's a very important thing that we have mentioned on our website, which is now being clearly mentioned everywhere. We have the discretion to deduct or take out any course we want, right? For the Kubernetes, yes, the Kubernetes, by the end of this month, 1 or 2 more courses will be completed. Again, these courses, he is doing the live classes. So if you have done the first exam, have you passed the first exam?
No.
Learn the first exam first. Pass the first exam. Try to pass the Kubernetes application developer course. Go for the training, pass the exam. You have access. If you want access to everything immediately, that may not even benefit you.
Right? So the point is only that I am.
Second, the thing is like, I agree. That is why we are removing the support teams. The support teams are going away because the supports team have failed us time and time and again. So on 30th of May, all these support teams are going out. New customer success team is coming in. Their job will be to give you the right information at the right time and the right place, with whom to contact, so on and so forth, right? That's one thing. The second thing is we will be giving additional 6 months to anyone who is on an annual track so that they can continue to learn and get tap of all of these things. So because we will keep on adding and subtracting courses every 6 months because the market is very dynamic, right? So the Azure course, as I told you, is being recorded by Kazim himself. I created the course, I gave it to him, he's doing that. There are 3 more courses in the SysOps advancement track. Those are my live classes. I was supposed to start this week, but because of the whole situation, the internet issue and whatnot, right? And in Pakistan and whatnot. So we had to defer that. So next week, you will start seeing me in those other classes as well. Have you acquired the SysOps advancement track? Which track have you got?
Both. DevOps and
SysOps and DevOps,
SysOps
right?
combination.
So
Yeah.
yes, so there are 3 courses that I'm teaching there. One is the CCSP, the Certified Cloud Security Professional. The other one is CCSK, the Certified Cloud Security Knowledge. And the third one is ISSAP. All of them are live classes. So you'll see me live sitting in the class, only with you guys teaching you.
So my only point is like, can we have a date when the Kubernetes and your course will be here? Because
Yes,
when
you
we
can have a
bought
date.
the course, we just
Yes, you
saw
can
it on
have
the pump.
Yes, you can have a date. That date is with Yusuf. Yusuf now has the dates of all the trainers. All the trainers, he has the dates and everything, right? Shamsi is the only person who has to deliver his courses, and Kazim. Everyone else has delivered their courses, right? That's the only thing. The reason is Shamsi is right now basically containerizing all of our own application, because he also works as a serverless architecture head in our organization, right? So that's one thing. And I told him that you have to teach them all the key things. So if you join in right now, Yusuf, please send me his contact details, his number and everything, create a group. I will ask Khalid Bhai to add him to Shamsi directly. So you can now sit with Shamsi on a daily basis, because Shamsi goes and does these internal briefings with his own team, and start doing the internship right now, so that you can learn how things are really done. And there you will be able to ask Shamsi Bhai, where are your courses coming? He will say, the dates are with Yusuf, you will communicate with Yusuf, right? That's what we are going through. The other thing is, alnafi.cloud is another solution that we're deploying. That solution will be where you will be able to buy the containers. Now, we are only teaching you all the labs, but when it comes to running those labs, this is where you have to run those labs on a container. And that can only be done if you have access to the AWS, but there you have to acquire the AWS access. We can't give you access for free. You can buy your minutes or your hours with us from AWS, and then have access to all the things, and you can start doing all of those things. So yes, I understand your pain, and that is why we have done a lot of changes. It took me some time to figure out, all of these things, but those things are done. In the next 2 weeks, you will start seeing the changes coming in, and you will be able to see all the courses coming in. I can tell you right now, Azure course is going to come by the end of June. This is the date I have, if I'm not mistaken. Yusuf, am I right? Is that the date?
The complete course will be available by the end of July.
By the end of July. That's
Yes.
thing, right? So because it has a lot of labs. Have you seen basically Kazim teaching? Yasser, have you seen him?
Yes.
He's not like a run-of-the-mill teacher that he will just teach you he will teach you how to build up all of those things.
And I really appreciate, and there is no doubt about the quality. But
yes,
the thing is, like, I would like to save this video for a reference when the full courses are published. I will apply for the grace period, definitely.
It's
because
already
I have paid.
Already there. You don't have to mention it. It will be mentioned on the website. Don't worry about it. Right.
No.
So just write down the time. The time is Saturday, 1:34 p.m. Eastern time, May 13th. Right.
I will note it down, sir.
Note it down.
And I would like to have a grace period for all that.
Yes, you will have it. Don't worry. I
Thank
mean,
you
we're
very
already
much.
giving anyone who is having, because this will be a standard practice within our organization. We will give everyone, whoever pays for 1 year, right? They will get 6 months additional access, because we will keep on adding new courses. If I show you the names of the new courses, you will start fighting with me. When are these courses coming in? If I tell you right now, if I tell you
I understand all these courses can be added and deleted,
listen.
but the
If I
thing
tell you
is,
right
like,
now, there is a new course.
Actually, so sorry to interrupt you. I am not concerned about the courses that you can add and delete, but the thing is, like, the core courses that are mentioned on the EduCall diploma, that should be given when we go for the yearly fee.
The other thing is, you will be requested to pay the EduCall diploma fee in 3 months.
Definitely, we will.
Yes, there's another thing that's coming in. So yes, you will have access to these things. But then there is a new course coming in every track. And it's a very extensive course. It's known as generative AI. Generative AI in SysOps, generative AI in DevOps, generative AI in basically blockchain, generative AI in cybersecurity. And you'll be wondering, what is that? Just wait for it, because we have to get it approved and get all the things completed, because then you will be able to see how to integrate AI into all of these processes. That's the next thing. You're not even seeing them on the job description right now. But in the next 6 months, you will start seeing them in the job description immediately. And the organizations are paying some very high money for this, like $175,000 to $200,000 per annum for people to have who knows these things. And you'll be the first persons to know these things. No,
So thank you very much. Thank you.
right? So you will be able to see it. But wait, okay? Because there are 2 PhDs that I've hired. One is from China, who's working in an IoT company, working on this area. And the other one is in Pakistan, who has been working with us for quite some time, Dr. Yasid. I mean, a very exceptional candidate. And he's working on generative and large-scale learning models. So there's a lot of things coming in. So your whole SysOps and DevOps and Kubernetes is going to change and morph into something very different. That the industry has already started working towards it right now, but you won't see them in the job description. 6 months' time, you'll start seeing the job descriptions will change significantly. Everything will require those things. So yes, you will have it. Don't worry. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, Tahir, go ahead.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर सर मेरा क्वेश्चन लैब से रिलेटेड है कि
In English. Has to be in English.
okay there is a problem in labs. We are unable to assess approximately last Saturday. We contact someone firstly on WhatsApp, and then I open a ticket on Jira also.
What
but I
is that?
couldn't.
Look, I see labs, people using labs in front of me all the time, because there's a whole
Yes.
portal, right?
Yes.
So do you know that how many hours can you do the labs in a given day?
30 minutes for
30 minutes.
24 hours.
For 24 hours, right? So if you use
Yes.
if you have used that thing up, it's not going to work
Yes.
until
Sir,
the
there-
next 24 hours time is done.
Sorry to interrupt, like but there is a loop that when we authenticate ourselves, you can say move back to the portal. Beside that, giving access.
Oh,
to
yes.
that
It
environment.
came to my attention. Yes. There was an issue that some of the users were facing, that their single sign-on was having problems, right? So we use a single sign-on for all the things. So you sign in once, and then it automatically authenticates you for the cloud labs and everything, right? At the back end, right? So yes, we have figured out the issue. We have addressed the issue. It was only impacting certain number of users, small percentage. And there's a new thing that we are deploying out right now. It will be deployed sometime on 16th of May or something, or maybe within this week, right? I'm being informed by Abdullah that issue has been addressed. Only a few users were facing that issue, so he's our basically he's our cloud administrator, right? That's what he told me. Are you still facing that issue, or are you not having that issue? Still?
Yes.
How is that
Yeah.
possible? So
I
okay.
checked approximately 30 minutes ago.
So talk to Abdullah. I'm going to give you his number. Hassan Ali, can you give Abdullah's number to him? Normally we don't do that, but you can have his number.
Sir, actually I messaged him in a group. So I think I actually open up poll for on which 7 people have facing the same issue till now. So I'm in contact him in a group.
So he will address that. So he will address that, right? So the other thing is, like, there is a major change coming in that I haven't announced yet. I will announce it on Monday, that we are changing, we have this availability of doing A and B testing of the application, right? So the learning management system is going through some testing right now, where we will push out a new LMS UI interface, right? Which will allow you to see all of your courses in a one uni bundle, right? So you will have one course, you log in as a diploma in cloud cybersecurity, you will be able to see all the courses as one.
Right.
You don't have to go through different windows. There's another thing that if you are learning DevOps advancement track or SysOps advancement track or diploma or whatever, then you will only have dedicated courses, right? That's where you will have access to the customer success manager and all of those things. So all of your things, you won't be contacting support anymore. Support is going out, right? So the whole
Right.
support is going out. Now you will have access to one person. So for example, Yasser is having issue. So Yasser will go to one person. You will go to another person. Everyone, each success manager has access to 200 to 300 people, right? Where his job would be to ensure to call you. He will be able to see if you're logging into the portal, logging out, what time you're logging in, what time you're logging out, what are you doing, what are you doing, this and that, etc., etc. All of these things he will be able to see, right? If you're struggling in something, you can pick up the phone and talk to him, right? He's not a
Right.
technical guy. He's only there to support you. If you're, for example, you're having this issue, just tell him, he say, okay, I'll open the ticket and I will expedite it to the engineering team. So now we have an engineering team. There's in the customer delight, there's an engineering team, which is run by Abdullah. There's an ITIL team run by Saira. There's a CRM team, which is on the top, run by Osama. Then there's a MOC, marketing operations, run by Khushal, right? There's a academic governance, any academic issues, right, or feedback with the students and everything. Yusuf, who's sitting here, he's a director of academic governance, he'll going to you. So we did a lot of changes in the organization that you'll be able to see now. For the past 2 months, we have been training these people. So now we are introducing that new structure. So once you see the new structure, you'll be able to talk, whom to talk, how to talk, what to ask, answer. Well, how should I study? What should I do that? What is my progress? What do you recommend? All of these things. You'll be able to communicate with them. They will be able to assist you. When should I apply for my resume? How can I join the internship program? What do I have to complete for the internship program? All of these things will be discussed on Monday. So you will go through all of those things. So don't worry. Okay. Abdullah will help you. Now,
Okay, thank you.
I started one big thing in this company, which is Al-Basir. Al-Basir is the name of Allah, right? Al-Basir means the all-seeing, right? It means the all-seeing. Allah can see everything, right? Servant of the all-seeing, right? It means like servant of the all-seeing, right? So I named this number, this thing, Al-Basir, as the data. We have this data lake now, where I'm able to see, how many tickets are open, who opened the ticket, which customer is opening the most tickets, which customer is opening, try to ask the most questions, which customer is attending all the live classes. There's a lot of analytics going in. Who is making payment, what kind of payments going, everything in this organization. There are more than 40 applications, plus applications. All of their data is going in there. And then we're creating a whole, persona of the people. What kind of customer is this? We are trying to categorize the customers, right? Is he a happy customer or sad customer? Is it Hazim or Saeed, right? All of these.
Right.
So if it's Hazim, why? We should do something so that he's Saeed, he's happy, right? So
Right.
now I can see what is happening. And that is something that I've been working on for the past 1 year. Now it is complete, right? So it took me some time to complete all of these things. So inshallah, you'll be able to see all those things coming in, okay? Okay, Ali, let's start with your preparation. Have you sent me all the data?
Yes, Faisal bhai.
Okay, I'm going to open this now, okay? And when is your interview? What is the date?
Faisal bhai, mostly it will be on 18th or 19th.
So we still have time. Today is 13th, right? So we'll do half and half, okay? All right. So
Okay.
the first person is Mills, knowledge in specialty lead generation, bid response, bid pricing, account management, partner management, contract negotiation. That's what he's doing.
Faisal bhai, I'm not sure he's gonna take my interview because it's not officially confirmed yet, but he has just joined this organization. So I've got
Okay, this is fine. Okay. I mean, he's a sales director, as a commercial director, right? The other person is, who's the other person? These are all Irish. This is an Irish firm?
Yes, Faisal bhai, this is a French firm actually.
Okay. I haven't
Yeah.
checked. I'm just looking at who is going to interview you? What's the name? Have you sent me that?
No, Faisal bhai, as I've told you, they haven't confirmed it yet to me because I'm in touch with a recruiter. So she is just, keeping in touch with the company, and she said that I'm going to confirm it when I hear back from them.
Okay.
So yeah, most probably it would be on 18th or 19th.
So we're going to jump onto what they do and what are they doing, etc., right? So let's jump on that. Again, this is Muhammad Ali, right? Let me jump in. This company was founded in 2019. And they're working in industrial control systems, automotive, IT, and IoT, telecoms, and aerospace and defense, right? They have offices in which areas? Location, Belfast, London, Hague, Tokyo. How can it be in Munich coming soon? How can it be a French company when they have no office in France? Anyway, the innovation center is there. There might be different reasons. It's a private limited company established in Belfast, by the way. Okay. So
Okay.
it's a private limited company. And I can see that they started with the funding of 2.4 million pounds, right? Seed fund. It's a private company. So they're establishing this company right now as we talk about it, right? So it's a new startup, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So it's like roughly 4 years old, right? Let's jump into what they're looking for and what they're asking for. So what this means is that you will end up working for multiple things. This is also a subsidiary of a larger group, which is, like a bigger organization. I'm looking into that as well right now.
So what I understood that they are building some kind of devices, like they are embedding security on devices with the fingerprints. So they've told me that could be a next revolution for IoT devices, as their focus is to build to secure the devices instead of securing the networks.
I'm going to talk about a few of these things, don't worry. So it says embedded software engineer, there's a firmware engineer, there's a hardware engineer, and there's IT OT security analyst, right? So there are 4 positions they're looking for, right?
Yes.
You're most probably in the IT OT security analyst, right?
Yes.
Right. So the embedded software engineer is working on a couple of these things, C and Python and embedded software and some stuff like that. The firmware engineer is working on, and I'm going to, tell you something that they haven't mentioned here. They mentioned experience with microcontrollers, interfaces, timers, ADC, PW, DAC, DMA, stuff like that. Interest in hardware security. And then in the hardware engineer, they talk about machine-to-machine, end-to-end learning, machine-to-machine communication, printed circuit boards, PCI, stuff like that. And then in the end, IT/OT security analyst comes in. It talks about many of these things, and I'm going to go through all of those things right now. But it is missing one key vertical, and this is something that you can go in and you can mention to them, right? So because that is not mentioned here, right? Let's open the job and see who is going to interview you. What is the name of that person?
Faisal bhai, let me find out the CEO's name. Actually, they haven't confirmed me anything yet, so that's the reason.
Okay,
because
you still
yeah.
got the basically the job. I mean, from the recruiter that this is going to be your next interview. Possibly, I'm setting it up, right?
Yes.
She told you. Okay, that's fine. So let's jump into how we're going to do this thing. Okay. Now, yes, what they have mentioned here is that by 2035, an estimated, 1 trillion connected devices will be there. This is absolutely true, right? This is going to happen. And this was mentioned back in 2017. I read that paper long ago. I'm going to share that with you right now. Okay. There it is. So white paper, the economics of trillion connected devices, right? It's already there. And this was by ARM, the processor maker. The vision for 1 trillion connected devices, right? The time scale, and they have mentioned all of these things. And they have mentioned that this will add 3% to US GDP over that period. I mean, that's a long old story. But I'm going to mention all of the key things that this is where it is, the route to 1 trillion devices. Because of IoT, the Internet of Things, the IoT boost to global GDP by 5 trillion per annum, yes. The global GDP is $100 trillion. G20 countries alone control $80 trillion. The remaining 20 trillion is for rest of the country, rest of all the world. Only G20 alone, which is a combination of North American, South American countries like Brazil and, and then European states, Canada and USA and Japan, all of these. Yes, so what they have mentioned is right? So if I go back and review all the key things, we're going to go over the job, right? Develop IT, OT, cybersecurity assessment approaches to ensure a proactive identification of threats vectors in line with NIST 853. Have you done this course? Right? Ali, you've done this course, right? So you should know, NIST 853 inside out. That is
yes, it's about security controls.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
what they're asking for is to develop like a process where you perform security assessments in line with the NIST 853, right? And 853 talks about all the security and privacy controls.
Yes.
This is what you have to mention. Tell them, I've seen, that this is a security analyst role, which talks about the European agency for security, the ENISA good practices for IoT, go and read that, download that document, read that. NIST IR 8259 and these standards, predominantly the 62443, all of these things, right? And even the ISO 24134, which is, I believe, is for autonomous cars, if I'm not mistaken, right? Let me check. Yeah, this is for road vehicle cybersecurity, right? So
Yes.
all of these things are related to each other, right? All of these things are related to each other because all of these things are connected IoT devices, right? And I have talked about this in much detail, and we're going to cover this in our next session on Tuesday or Wednesday or something. So you have to wait. But during this time, go and read as much as you can for all of these things, right? MITRE attack, cyber kill chain, good knowledge of this and this. We have covered the whole MITRE attack in our offensive security in a much more detailed manner. You can do labs of each and every MITRE attack, right? There's a new course that we have launched known as, if I show you, right, alnafi.com, which talks about all the things in detail. And this one is cybersecurity, DevOps, SysOps, and offensive security, right? So DevOps, SysOps, and offensive security advancement track. This is the one, right? So this covers the whole MITRE attack, It covers everything. It has all the labs of the MITRE attack, one by one, each and every attack vector, each and everything, right? However, for you, it's not necessary right now. You can look into that, all of those things later on. So what is the role of this thing? I'm going to tell you that, and then we're going to cover that later on, right? Tell them, look, I have experience with NIST 853, yes. I have very good experience with IEC 62443, done the implementation, assessments, electrical power grids, power plants, retail and manufacturing side, where we have covered all of these things, food processing, food manufacturing, I've covered all of those things in terms of assessing their networks, IT and OT networks, looking into where the segmentation is, how things are connected, how we can do scanning, et cetera, et cetera. But one of the things that you tell them, I'm not sure what the solution they're designing. Whatever solution they design, they on their website, they have mentioned that we need embedded software engineer, this and this and this, but they haven't mentioned one thing. And that is how to perform firmware security testing, right? This is something that they haven't mentioned. There's a standard known as FSTG, the Firmware Security Testing Guide, right? Their people should have been well-versed in terms of understanding these key things, how to perform the Firmware Security Testing Guide, and mention to them, if you guys are focused specifically on hardware, where we have to create a solution based on TPM or a virtual TPM or a hardware-based TPM, trusted platform module, or, the only way you can secure a device is through encryption, where you create a process where nothing can be accessed until you have the encryption keys or decryption keys, or whatever the case is. Or it might be some other novel way, right? I was reviewing your website in terms of understanding your hardware security and embedded engineers. You need to mention the firmware security testing methodology, because that covers all the key aspects of how to perform effective things of information gathering, obtaining firmware, analyzing firmware, extracting the file system, all of these things. That things was meant, is not mentioned there. This is the fundamental testing methodology for IoT and basically for anything which is just connected to the IoT devices, right? So mention that to them, and I would ask you to go and review this thing. This is a whole project. You can go online and you can download this thing, and you can go to OWASP, and they have mentioned all of these things, and they have even put like their project here. Just review it. This will help you. There's also IoT top 10 mapping project, IoT GOAT, firmware analysis project, security testing methodology, and security verification standard, and byte sweep. Read these things. This is going to help you in terms of understanding how things are going to proceed before you come in for the interview. Because I'm going to ask you, I've prepared you a lot for all of these interviews. I'm not going to repeat things that are already there, because they're asking for good knowledge, demonstrate this, demonstrate that, good understanding. You've already gone through all of these things. I'm going to interview you, explain to me the process of how these things are done, okay? Because this role is pretty much all about reviewing the architecture, the assessments. So you're going to explain to them, if given the opportunity, my number one role would be how I can create an architecture, like a security standard, a universal risk and compliance standard framework, where we can plug in, it's like a Lego block house, where we will have NIST 853. We have another block of 62443. The third block is NISTIR 8183 and 8259, the ENISA good practices for IoT, the PASS, and the ISO 21434. Anything which is autonomous, anything which has controllers, microcontrollers, embedded hardware, running on MicroPython, Micro Linux, whatever it is, through one framework, I will be able to perform deep analysis of all the things. And then for the network analysis, obviously for that, you have to perform scanning analysis, internal external vulnerability scans, deep penetration scans, authenticated scans, and many other things. But go back, Ali, study this thing, study the job description. Tell me, what do you see? How to answer this question? Okay. And after the call me, and I'm going to tell you something on the side how you can answer these questions. I will teach everyone on Tuesday, how to do these things, but I'm going to tell you in private so that you can prepare yourself so that when you come and see me on Tuesday, you're fully prepared, right? Securing this job is going to be easier. What is the pay scale that they're offering you?
Faisal bhai, it's around 40 to 50, and also they've told me they're offering a sponsorship as well.
That's good. So our role is going to be, this is a new firm established in 2019, a small firm. They're looking for people. If they find the right person and you will be the right person, then inshallah, then our job is going to be to get you in as fast as we can with as much information as as you can muster in your brain so that you can go in front of them and sit in front of them and explain to them, present them a business proposal and also present them a proposal to be able to answer all of these questions. This is very easy, not that difficult. But first you tell them what you saw is missing. Then you will tell them what you will do to plug in the gaps. And the third one, you will explain to them that, all of these things that they have mentioned can be done by you. You can pretty much essentially manage the whole practice. But if you take that responsibility, Ali, this will come with a lot of responsibility. You have to go in, dig in deeper, start collecting all the things. You have to, in these small firms, you can't hide. You'll be on the crosshairs every single day, right? But it's easier to manage the work because they will get the business. That person, the sales director that you showed me, he will be the person that most probably you'll be working closely with. So he will get you the business. He will ask you to come in. Then you have to go in and basically go with him and get all these things done. That's what needs to be done. So inshallah, I will tell you, but on Tuesday. Okay. So call me after in 10, 15 minutes. I will tell you something and you follow that, because when you see me on Tuesday, I'm going to interview you as you are being interviewed by them. Okay. So be prepared, inshallah. But it's going to be very easy. But this time your learning process will be way, way easier, inshallah. Okay.
Okay, Faisal bhai. Faisal bhai, I would like to, would you please tell me that, what would be the possibilities to secure machine-to-machine communication if they are not like fingerprinting the devices? How are they gonna do it? I've seen their videos. The CEO of the company were talking about that they are fingerprinting the devices and they are using quantum cryptography to secure all such devices. So is there a possibility that can they embed a quantum cryptography on devices?
No.
Because what I understand that usually the smaller devices, IoT doesn't have the capacity or power to process larger data.
Here's the thing. There is no such thing as, I have done the quantum encryption implementation of the networks. The switches are way expensive. And if there is one switch here, and then there is another switch here, both of these switches are quantum switches. And anything sitting on these switches, the network will be inside, it's not internet accessible, it's only inside. It's a private network, right? That is a quantum network. You create quantum network running on quantum switches. Now, there is another thing known as quantum resistant encryption. Quantum resistant encryption, it utilizes the quantum resistant encryption, normal encryption methodologies, but these are new encryption, basically protocols. So that's what they're using. I have to review their website. They're saying they protect communication for smart cities and mobility. Our hardware-based solution safeguard critical machine-to-machine communication, integrity in data, provenance, creating trusted connection, even in untrusted. So how are they doing it? I will be able to tell you.
Faisal bhai, they are claiming that they have developed their own protocol with the NCSC, like National Cybersecurity Center. So they haven't provided any details on it yet. So I haven't found it. So I'm just wondering, what are they doing? Like,
I'm not sure, like in this industry, there's one thing I keep on telling everyone, right? Back in 2022, NIST announced their first quantum resistant encryption. NIST announces first 4 quantum resistant cryptographic algorithms. You know what these are? What this means is that you can run these algorithms on normal hardware, right? And they will be able to do some quantum mathematics to ensure that you are able to basically, secure your infrastructure, right? You can read more about them over here. These are the first 4 algorithms. Have they developed their own algorithm? I don't think so. They might have, I don't know. But everything, like you were asking me about fingerprinting, right? Fingerprinting is done. Everything has a fingerprint. Every hardware has a fingerprint. The embedded controllers, they have their, like just like in the mobile phones, right? In the mobile phones, they have their own IDs and stuff like that, right? So everything has their own fingerprints. They call this MCI or number, something like that, right? If I open
V2X, Faisal, they were saying V2X. I don't know what it is, but V2X communication.
I have to go and review some of their videos and read some of their things, right? That's why I'm asking you to give me till Tuesday to go
Okay.
back and see, right? Because then because this is a unique interview preparation, right? I want to see how this is going to come out, because I'm not sure what they're doing. Now, there's one thing I can tell you right now. Many organizations do one thing, and they call it FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. If you spread fear and uncertainty and doubt, then you can create an atmosphere where you can say, we have done this, we have done that, and this is going to revolutionize everything, and people will start buying it. Before then, like people have done this thing. They did the same thing with data science. They kept on telling everyone, data science is here, data science is here. Every single student was doing degree in data science. Now, what do we have? I can show you resumes of people who have done degrees in data science in UK, and they are working at Marks Spencer, KFC, and stuff like that. Because you already know, you're in UK, right? You already know.
Yeah, because they are studying data science without reference. Like they don't have a background, or they're not.
Someone created this buzzword, data science, everyone started jumping on data science. Now, even for AI, it's a big buzzword. Everyone is saying data AI is going to, gobble up all the jobs, this and this and this. No, it's not going to happen like that. Yes, it is going to gobble up lower level jobs, mundane tasks. But AI will be there assisting in facility. Like when calculator came out, think of it, AI as a calculator. When calculator came out, prior to calculator, everyone was doing their calculations on what? On a piece of paper, right?
Yes.
When calculator came out, what happened? We were saving a lot of paper, right? We're just doing calculations on the calculator. It was easier, right? We don't have to do a long calculation. We can just write it down. We were saving a lot of calculator, right? A lot of paper. AI, by infusing the AI in business, organizations will be able to save a lot of manpower hours by not investing time in the mundane tasks. No one talks about it because everyone is writing a book. Oh, I've written a book, this, about that, this and this and this, and they're selling those things. AI is going to change, yes, but it is going to take time for AI to take over all of, taking over means it is able to make decisions on its own to run the business. No one in this world is going to allow AI to run its own business and sit back and relax. That's not happening. AI can only do a task that you ask it to do. It can provide you, right now, it is at that level. It can provide you information about many things. Yes, it is going to take out all the jobs, like, for example, graphic designing. There's no need. It can learn and can do all of those things. Resume development, yes, there's no need. Blogs, writing blogs, there is no need. You can tell it can write a good blog, SEO optimize, all of these things. Content creation, content writing, yes, it's gone. Like a few days ago, people in Los Angeles, the Writers Guild was doing basically a strike because they said, like, AI is here, it's copying our work, we are out of work. Yes, they will be out of work. AI is going to consume the jobs at the lower level. But the higher you go, the more complexity there is. There will always be demand for people, but they have to learn. So, for example, if someone is learning DevOps, he has to learn AI. If someone is learning SysOps, he has to learn AI. If someone is doing blockchain, he has to learn AI because it is going to help you in doing your job better. But it is not.
Specifically, there was a news regarding AI. The father of AI in Google left, and because he said that it's dangerous, so it has given an impact like the AI is going to be dangerous, like a movie of Terminator or something like this. So,
There are other important things in this world. We believe that there are aliens in this world. We believe this and this and this, right? We believe that there's a very important concept in science known as Fermi paradox, right? The Fermi paradox is a discrepancy between the lack of conclusive evidence of advanced extraterrestrial life and the apparently high or a priorly likelihood, basically, of its existence. Okay? So go and study that. You will understand we can't even leave our own space. So we talk about going to Mars, but we can't even leave our solar system. We can't go into other solar systems. Forget about leaving our own solar system. We can't even think about going to other solar systems. We can't even leave our own solar system in the first place. And if you lead the Fermi paradox, you will say that, there might be something that, they say, the scientists say that there are 10 million intelligent alien civilizations in our galaxy. In our galaxy, now I'm not talking about other galaxies, right? But we haven't even found a single one, right? So what I'm saying is that, in the IT industry, everyone wants to sell their stuff. And there's a thing known as FUD, fear, uncertainty, doubt. The reason that, what's the real reason why that person who was, the AI head in what was his name? Jeremy, like AI head at Google, right? Who left, right? Who left basically generative AI, right? Jeffrey Hinton. He warns about dangers of AI, this and this and this, right? He has been working in that for quite some time. The risk, he's right in some aspects, but he's also creating a lot of sensationalism, because if you create some sensationalism, then you will be able to sell it better. As they say in Pakistan, which is a very bad terminology, jo dikhta hai, wo bikta hai, right?
Yes.
Right. So they say, like, if I convert this into English, if people can see it, they will buy it, right? So organizations, are jumping. Organizations are very clever. They won't deploy these things. Everyone promises that they have the silver bullet to create this thing and that thing. Know this one thing: nothing in this world can be secured 100%. Risk can never be eliminated. It can be addressed, mitigated, or accepted. You can't deny the risk. You can't, basically eliminate the risk. If they're claiming that this is 100% proof technology, that it will, remove the whole cybersecurity aspects and whatnot, then they are lying. I haven't even seen it. If you want me to see it, I can see it right now. Okay, let's go and see it. Okay, let's go. Remove the whole cybersecurity aspects and whatnot, then they are lying. I haven't even seen it. If you want me to see it, I can see it right now. Okay, let's go. Let me, hold on, just give me 1 minute. Remove the whole cybersecurity aspects, then they are lying. I haven't even seen it. If you want me to see it, I can see it right now. Let me, hold on, just give me 1 minute. Remove the whole cybersecurity aspects. Just give me 1 minute. Hold on. Okay. I'm going to open this right now. Can you hear me? First of all, Ali?
Yes, Faisal, I'm here.
So let's dissect them. You know, we're going to talk about this on Tuesday in much more detail. I'm just going to see what they have and what are they saying and what are they claiming. And then, you know, call me and then I will explain to you how to prepare yourself for this interview in a better light, right? Let's look into what they're claiming. They're saying that protects communication for smart cities. Smart cities run everything run on IoT, right? We are trusted by all of these companies. Okay, let's look into what they have.
Hello, my name is Yuri Allison, and I'm the CEO of Angoka. Angoka's mission is to secure the machine-to-machine communication of the future. Angoka was founded by 4 serial entrepreneurs who between us had 5 exits, including 2 IPOs. Myself, I'm trained as an astrophysicist and have a background in investment banking and fintech startups where I have 1 exit. I'm also a part-time entrepreneur in residence at the UK's Quantum Technologies Enterprise Centre, where I've helped spin out 22 deep tech companies in the last 4 years. We set up Angoka about 3 years ago because we realized that security for connected devices was the next big thing. And today I'm going to share with you how we are solving the problem of making connected devices protected. Fiat Chrysler had to recall 1.4 million vehicles at a cost of nearly $1 billion to this bad. They weren't the only ones. That happened to Ford, Volvo, Tesla. In fact, most major car companies have been compromised. So what could we do about this? Well, we realized that cars are essentially just computers on wheels full of electronic components. So we added on unique electronic fingerprints to those components. And that, along with our patented security protocol, allows these components to unforgeably identify themselves. And that is what creates trust in the communication. Angoka's solution represents a complete paradigm shift. We focus on securing the devices rather than the networks. And there will be up to 1 trillion connected devices in the next few years. So this is a massive problem. Because these connected devices communicate over complex web of networks, from Wi-Fi to 5G to SATCOMs. And it is this complexity that means that the end-to-end security of the communication cannot be guaranteed. So we have now developed a solution for securing people everything for V2X communication, along with the Warwick Manufacturing Group, a world leader in automotive cybersecurity. And taking our mobility solution even one step further, we are developing the next generation secure drone communications, along with Altitude Angel, one of the world's leading UAV traffic management providers, to ensure that drones can fly safely around our cities. And we're working with British Telecom to build a quantum secure 5G backbone critical national infrastructure. In fact, we're addressing a $50 billion market opportunity. We have a truly scalable platform technology, and we are the team to deliver. So we're now looking to engage with potential customers, partners, as well as investors, and we look forward to hearing from you. Thank you.
Dekho, there's one thing this guy, he told you about his, basically his credentials. So astrophysics, he did his astrophysics, then he's a serial entrepreneur. So he knows how to talk, one thing. He talked about, he only showed 1 car moving around the lane, and he's saying like they have created basically a protocol. The protocol is as good as it comes down into the hands of the person who is going to test it, right? The fact of the matter is, if I have to give you a very blunt assessment, and I'm going to show you that, right? A very, very blunt assessment. Everyone talks about, creating the next big thing, which is going to solve all the problems in the world. That is not the case, right? And I'm going to tell you why. Look at the job descriptions that they have: embedded software engineer, firmware engineer, hardware engineer, right? And look at what they are saying. They're saying that autonomous vehicles to drones, or V2X means vehicle to anything, communication, right? So contribute, evaluate, and verify new technologies to advance Angoga solutions, et cetera, right? What we are looking for is 1 to 2 years of experience in embedded solutions. So they are looking for some of the things, right? The next thing is that they have is their firmware engineer. They have their firmware, and they're talking about all the protocols, interest in hardware security, self-starter, DAC and DMA and ADC, and all of these are protocols, right? And experience with microcontrollers and interfaces and peripherals. Okay, that's fine. And then hardware engineer. Hardware engineer talks about the splicing, the LTU splicing, the SPICE, sorry, C or Python, et cetera, right? And then they talk about the cybersecurity job, right? None at this place. Haven't talked about any of the protocols or testing methodologies through which you can test your solution. So that protocols is as good as any other protocol out there, which hasn't been exploited yet. Once it comes into the industry, then you have to exploit it, right? Then you have to exploit the protocol. Anything in this world can be broken apart. Anything, even quantum computers. The only thing is quantum computers, they create a delay. To break the quantum computer encryption, you need another quantum computer. Quantum computer can break your encryption. But if you want to break their encryption, you need to have your own quantum computers, right? Nothing in this world is 100% secure. And if you want to sell this outside, that is, in a way, not the right statement to say. I'm choosing my words very, very carefully, okay, Muhammad? So I have to be very careful because you have to go there for the things. This company, they have created a protocol, maybe a mathematical protocol. They don't even have to do all of these complex things. You know what they can do? The simple thing that they can do? The simple thing. The most simplest thing that they can do is to use IOTA, okay, protocol. This is the protocol used for basically, this is a feeless open source protocol based on blockchain, quantum entanglement, mathematics that you can use for IoT authentication. This is the most sophisticated protocol created by MIT. It can't be broken apart because it is using mathematics. RSA encryption cannot be broken apart. If you use RSA encryption, think about from this perspective. Any company that is a victim of ransomware, why do they end up paying ransomware? Have you thought about, Ali? Why? What kind of encryption are they using? It's a public and private key encryption, right? They're using that symmetric or asymmetric encryption to encrypt your data, right, Ali?
Yes.
Right? And they can't break it because the root factor of the key is very big, right? So if you use a bigger key, it becomes impossible to get the data. Now, we have seen these ransomware attacks on bigger companies like Colonial Pipe Systems, some of these bigger companies, and they're earning billions of dollars on an annual basis. They could have easily got rent a quantum computer and get those things done, but that's not possible. They don't
but
do.
Faisal bhai, most of the attackers don't break encryption.
Here's the thing. That's what I'm saying. So saying that they have created this and this, the attackers, all they need is if their encryption is running on hardware, all they have to do is attack the hardware or the Linux operating systems that is running.
But right? they can attack. They can attack from several aspects. They can attack the networks. They can,
the attack vector. The possibilities are endless. I'm not even.
They can do social engineering.
Right now, so I'm not going there because I did a lot of preparation or all those things. All I'm saying is that It's a, in the industry is known as FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. Spread that and just show one car moving around and saying that we have created this and this and this, and this will resolve all the issues, and that's not the case. It's not the case. They can work with as many people as they like, but that is not the case. And this is not going to happen like that. Let me tell you something. The technology, when I was working on IoT devices back in 2018, 2017, we were looking into implementing and creating the infrastructure so that when the cars are going in, they can pick up the sensors and they can navigate themselves, right? Another person in UK was able to resolve this issue by creating a system that doesn't do any of these things. In fact, it relies on, some very different things like LiDAR and whatnot. And it is able to basically effectively run all the things without any problems, right? I'm going to show you that. If you see that, yes, that is a very promising technology, right? That is a very promising technology. So things are changing very fast, right, in the world. What is a promising technology? I can show you that. Now, in the security business, nothing can be secure. Nothing. If someone is saying that, you take that with a grain of salt. Look at this one. This is a solution which has created, ripples in the industry. And now I'm seeing every, fourth car or fifth car, basically as an electric car nowadays outside. So look at this. This technology, yes, it is changing that, the industry.
You could drive around London in a car without a driver, or rather, no human driver. It was a car operated by Waze, a startup that's developing a new approach to autonomous driving.
Now, the approach that I was working on was to create the infrastructure, right? Because if we have the infrastructure on the roads and the sensors and everything, then the possibility of basically the accident would be low because the cars will be able to run in defined runways, right? But that was the hardware-based approach. I was not happy with it, but I was told to do that. And I told them, look, we should look into that. That person was able to look into the things that I was thinking. So look into that because, a person can think many things, but he doesn't have the time to create those things. Another person and he can pick on that idea because we all think alike, all of these things are from Allah. As Allah says, Alhamdulillah, all praises belongs to Allah, from whom good things are accomplished. So even if whatever he's Alex Kendall, whatever he's accomplishing, it is from Allah. Allah has mentioned that. Allah has told to Dawood alayhi salam that I taught him how to mail chain mail in the Quran, how to make armor for yourself. And Allah says, then praise me, because Allah said, all things that you're creating is coming from me. So it's not our ilm, it's the ilm of Allah. That is, Allah is granting it, and Allah can give it to anyone who works hard. So they are working hard, they're getting it.
Francis, all yours. All right. Can I introduce Tifa? Tifa's going to be our safety operator today and monitor the system. Hopefully, the easiest job in the world. Great, Bill. Where would you like to go?
Let's go get some fish and chips. Other self-driving technologies work only on specific map streets. Waves technology operates more like the human driver would, learning how to drive in one city and then applying that knowledge to drive in new places. London is a very challenging place to drive, with lots of traffic, pedestrians, and cyclists. We put Waves self-driving technology to the test.
The algorithm is now controlling the speed, the steering, the indications, the braking, everything about the car's driving. We're making decisions based on what we see. So it's not being told how to drive with a set of rules and a map, but it's interpreting its environment, understanding the context, and making safest decisions to drive through that. The beauty of that is that it can learn things that are more complex than you can hand engineer. If you have to tell a car how to behave in each and every situation it will exist, you're never going to cover them all. I mean, this is the real world right here. I mean, look at the cyclist on the left. Yeah, see how we're slowing down behind it. We'll probably, when it opens up, overtake the cyclist, but we're choosing not to now. Okay, let's pause.
Yeah, it gives him as much clearance as possible. That's great. All right, this is guy going backwards, forwards. Ooh.
I'll give you credit for picking one of them.
So here's the thing, in the industry, as I said, the new terminology is going to be smart ops, or anything as AI ops. AI is going to be embedded in anything and everything that they can to make it much more efficient and effective. So go for this interview, prepare for this interview, Muhammad, in a way that you are fully prepared, but go with an open mind. Listen to them, what they have to say, but also present your own solution, right? Tell them this is what you have. Tell them like, it's great, but also tell them you are not able to see any firmware security testing guide resolutions that if you guys are creating solutions running on firmware hardware, then it should be tested and vetted, right, properly. People are recreating many things. This guy didn't recreate any new thing. He discovered something that he was able to utilize using computer vision and combination of other AI things, right? As you said, there is no data required for this thing. So big data will become irrelevant because data will just come in, and then AI will make its own decision. AI doesn't need a lot of data to learn. AI, is going at that level now that if you ask them something, AI, he will try to find it out online and try to answer that in the best possible way. So things are changing in the industry very fast, right? It's a very fluid industry. Another thing is, none of the companies will create something so drastic that it spreads unemployment at a level that they are not even able to sell the solutions. देखो, अगर उन्होंने unemployment फैला दी, इनका सामान कौन लेगा? Right, Ali?
Yes, that's right.
So people, they need to sell their stuff. People need to buy their stuff. People need to work. They have to strike a balance. Yes, some jobs will go away, but those jobs were meant to be gone away anyway. The content creation, marketing, and stuff like that, right? Everything will go automated. It's not me. It's already said by World Economic Forum, 3 years ago, back in 2020, right? So things will change, but eventually, at the end of the day, it all comes down to what preparation have you done? अगर तुम लोग सारी वीडियोस देखते रहोगे, if we keep on watching these videos और बोलोगे वाह 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 जबरदस्त जबरदस्त, ठीक है ना, वो जो वीडियो दिखा रहा है वो पैसे कमा रहा है, तुम लोग वाह 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 कर रहे हो and your life is passing away. भाई जाओ काम करो, let's go and learn. So spend the time to learn these things and go and work in the industry. The industry will evolve, but you will be surprised that it is not going to evolve in a way कि भाई सब कुछ खत्म हो जाए. And this is not going to happen. Anyway, so let me review, their claim, what they're doing, how they're doing. I'm very skeptical. The reason is because I have been a CIO, right? Once you become a CIO, you become very skeptical because कोई आपके पास लेकर आता है ना चीज, you analyze from every angle. So if I'm a CIO, I wouldn't be sold out by just looking at that, Angoka video and saying, okay, they have this best solution. Oh, this is the end. It's done, man. It's finished. It's the solution that we have been looking for, right? That's not the case here.
I think, Faisal bhai, that's why recruiter told me they might be looking for penetration tester for their devices. Yeah.
Go in and say, yes, I can, I can go in there and I can perform, for example, I can perform web application pen testing, network pen testing, all, what they're doing, what they're going to do with you. Your job would be go in and test the client network and find the vulnerabilities and recommend their solutions, how their solution, which is your solution, can going to fill up this gap. The cybersecurity specialist, Philip Mills, joins Angoka as commercial director. Angoka at Cyber UK 2023. This is former Diego CFO, Nick. So they're just gathering some people to, basically come in and work with them, so on and so forth, right? Belfast First Advanced Air Mobility Summit, 2 billion exports, potential for an economy. They're talking about all the stuff. What do they have, or what is the solution? I don't even see that on their website. I mean, what is it they have? They just showed me one car moving around, right, with some sensors on top. But what exactly is it? So, what are they doing? This is the chief executive, Yuri Anderson, right? He's a serial entrepreneur. He has created, these entrepreneurs are very clever. They create machines and this is the Shadi-e-Razak. He looks like a Persian guy. Let's look into him. He's a CTO, right? He's the guy. He is the guy who is running all the things. Let's look into him. Normally I don't check stuff, but I'm just going to look into him. Okay, he's a public speaker, etc., professional, 21 years experience. Like, he is 2 years short. In experience terms, he's 2 years shorter than me. I have 23, he's 21, right? Okay, co-founder and CTO. Okay, he's there, co-founder and technical product director, Sai Nation. And the digital fingerprints are created by digital signatures. So they are using digital signatures. Technology and Finance Society has been a director there. Chief executive, Pharaoh's consultancy has been a consultant as well, 27,001 and stuff like that, right? You see, visiting lecturer and researcher. Prior to that, he was a visiting lecturer. He left that and then he worked into the industry. I don't think that they have like the revolutionary technology they're talking about, right? I don't think so. But anyway, that is my opinion. I'm a very difficult man to please because, I ask questions. I ask very tough questions. So I'm not surprised. But what I'm saying is that prepare for this interview and go in as a penetration tester and tell them what you have seen in the job descriptions, what may be missing, and that will be a good bet for you and what you can offer, right? And tell them one thing, as I can tell you right now, IT/OT security analyst means you will go in, you will perform these assessments on the company, and then you will tell them. So they will sell your assessment time. And then they will say, this is the report. We now recommend you to acquire our services to plug the gaps. And that's what you have to do. That is your job, right? There's nothing else. Anyway, call me in 15 minutes time, right? And then we will talk further, inshallah, okay? So Jazakallah khair, everyone. I will, inshallah, go through this next time. On Tuesday, we will do some more interview preparation. And on Monday, there's our technology time will be starting as well, the internship. We will be discussing many, many things, inshallah. So I will see you then. Remember, PSW is the start, but it's not the end. It can become the end if you don't, get the internship and all those things on the paper. Otherwise, no one will even call you for an interview. It's very difficult to get into the market. Okay. Jazakallah khair. I will see you all next time. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Assalamu alaikum.